Good Tuesday morning. What is it, June 27th? So we have like 3 days left in the first half of the year. What a crazy year. How many of you are on track for your goals? How many of you are on track for your goals? On track. If you wanted to make $100,000, are you at 50 or have 50 on the books? It's a challenge. We're halfway there. What have we endured in this market? Who could have predicted what we're going through? Price acceleration is rapidly declining. Price appreciation is rapidly declining. Is that a good statement or a bad statement? Huh? No, if appreciating is declining, it means it's still going up. And that's what we're seeing. But the rest of the market says it's depreciating. No, appreciation is declining, but it's still going up. I just can't see it. A house on my street, next street over for me, just went for $600 a foot. The highest in the neighborhood was $500 a foot in 3 days. Another house 3 doors down from that one has been on the market now for 2 months with no activity. And it's only $400 a foot. How do you predict? We sold 50 something Beachmaker hotel condos for 2.5 years from now. And other products are just sitting there. How do we make sense of it? Surrender. You can't. Just take as much as you can, throw it against the wall and see what sticks. Quote, Craig Beggins. There you go. All right. Jump to our agenda. That's not it. There we go. I just stuck with Jimmy's format because it's much prettier than mine. Some quotes for the week. Chris, read the front because it's Mike Ferry. First paragraph.
Within the next few days, we will have completed 6 months of 2023. The good news is that there are a lot of great agents like yourself whose income is up, while at the same time, transaction counts are often down. Look at the following thoughts to keep yourself in the game and your transactions growing.
Some of you are having the best years you've ever had in this period of time. Some of you have crawled under a rock and taken shelter, right? It's time to get out of the rock. And that's one of our missions today, because we're going to show you all the opportunities. Number one, push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. God, we try. We try hard. Velocity of money, all these different things, mastermind groups, just go do something.
I can't do your push-ups for you.
Especially now. Yeah, when the market went down for short sales, what did we do? We pulled up our bootstraps up and went to work. We did thousands of short sales. Same thing now. Joe, number two.
Good morning. Every day is a chance to do better than the day before.
If you just keep that in mind, so what if you screwed off yesterday? You can make up for it today. Perfect. Mr. Beggins, number three.
Today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow that you want.
I didn't even put that on him on purpose, but what does that tie into? No, big ass smile. What is your big ass smile? What is your clarity? What are you working for? Right? Today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow that you want. What is the tomorrow that you want? I'm getting clear on the tomorrow I want. Are you getting clear on the tomorrow you want? You want commissions? And sometimes commissions are not going to be enough. What are you going to do with those commissions? Buried in your backyard? Seriously, some people do. But what do you do with your commissions? Be clear on it.
Yeah. Do you spend them? Do you invest them? Do you put a smile on your face? Do you enjoy the time? Do you enjoy your family? What are you doing with them? That's where the clarity comes in. And that's why we've really tried to push and focus on clarity for you guys and give you different opportunities to get more clear by bringing in velocity of money, by doing vision boards, by having constant talks about that, just because it's a constant reminder that we always need to shift and refocus just a little bit more, just get a little bit more clarity there.
I read a book not too long ago called Die Broke. The only problem is you don't know when you're going to die. So if you go broke too early, then you're screwed. We don't want to do that. Number four, Otis.
Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that makes the difference.
Yes. So sometimes we're asking you to do things that, all right, you do a CMA for somebody and they say, why'd you do this for me? I don't need it. Is that failure? Nope, not at all. It's effort. And number 5, Rachel, I can see your camera, but
Where's she at? There she is.
microphone's not saying. Number 5, every day is not a good day, but there is some good in every day. That's a mindset, isn't it? There's always something, right? I fell and broke my rib cage and that was a bad day, but I only broke 1 rib instead of the other 8. So that was good. There you go. They're bothering me. Okay, Megan, are you with us? There she is.
Good
Her
morning.
Bucks jersey. It's not
Yeah,
football.
it's sports day today in Apollo Beach.
Oh, is it?
It is for Spirit Week. Don't forget next week we have, or on the 13th, we have our Paramount Title training. It is the Q&A with title. We will have an attorney on the call with us. So please keep sending me any questions that you guys may have for the attorney. We're going to address them with him earlier so we can have the presentation prepared for the 13th. And then if you guys do need anything, just reach out to me. I know a lot of people have been asking to get signed up for Title Toolbox and have asked me some questions on them. So if you do have any questions or you want to sit down and kind of go over that, we can do that together. Also the Fan Agent One app. If you have any questions or want to get signed up or get pulled under me, just give me a call or send me a text and we can get that done as well.
How many of you in the room signed up for the Title Toolbox? 1? Well, one of the things we asked you to do this week is do a CMA for somebody you know that owns a house, or somebody who done, thank you, or somebody who you don't know, but you'd like to know their house, right? For market stats. And you've got so many tools, and maybe we overwhelmed you with the tools because you've got Remine as one. You've got, what's the other one that we've been pushing?
Remine, Forewarn.
Forewarn,
I mean,
been verified. That's
Yeah,
what I was
that's the
thinking
other
of.
one.
And now you got Title Toolbox. Pick one and master it. That's all we can do.
Mm.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right,
All right,
and that's
Beth.
it. You guys have a great week.
Thank you, Megan. Oh, you're gonna have a busy week this last 3 days of the month, so be kind. to
Yeah,
Title.
yeah, it's picking up a little bit over here.
Okay, so in the effort of showing you that things are happening, I've asked the managers to go through our core zip codes, meaning where we have offices like 33572, 73, 706, 708, 785, 629, all the other ones, and give us a little report on what's going on. How many listings are happening, how many sales are happening, and how many closings are happening. And then it's for us to decide, number 1, is that enough? And then 2, how much of those do we want? So Chris, you want to start?
Sure. So I started off with the Apollo Beach office and I used the 33572 zip code. And I also included 33570 just because they're both, one's Apollo Beach, the other's Apollo Beach / Ruskin. Between the 2 zip codes of 33572 and 33570 in the last 90 days, there were 210 listings. Of those 210, there were 229 went pending. So almost a 1-to-1 ratio for amount of listings coming on the market over 90 days for the amount of listings going pending over 90 days as well. Then for the number of solds over the last 90 days, there was 474 properties sold in the last 90 days. The total volume of sales was $161,842,992 in the last 90 days. That's a lot of volume. And if we would have got a commission on every single one of those, we would have brought in 90 days, $4,855,289.
In those 2 zip codes.
Just in 2 zip codes. And I thought it was interesting too. The average price for those 2 zip codes was $404,000. If I pull out one of them, if I pull out the Ruskin, more Ruskin focused zip code that still has a little Apollo Beach in it, the Apollo Beach average price jumps up to $575,000. And also interesting, the average days on market was 51 days on market. And when we looked at all of our markets, Jimmy and I were looking this morning, average days on market for all of them that we were looking at, 51 days, basically 49 to 51 days, average days on market for all of the listings in the last 90 days.
Duck, the sky is falling.
Oh,
51 days.
Jimmy's got some great info on Sun City. Why don't you share that?
Yeah, so in Sun City, we pulled two zip codes on that too. So 33573 and then 33571. And to what Chris was talking about, similar, not numbers, but active wise in the last 90 days is 162 active listings, pending 127. So not quite 1-to-1 like it is in Apollo Beach. But in these two zip codes are 340 solds worth $106,445,325. And if we were to get commission on all those, it's about $3.2 million in commissions. Now, this is kind of funny too. Well, not funny, but just so you can see a difference of how close we are. Average price in those two is $318,000 versus 404 to 575.
Holy cow.
Average days on market was 49, so very similar, right around the 50 mark. Now, this is the other thing too. So we wanted to see how many, it just popped up while we're looking at it, but out of those 340 solds, 154 of them are cash.
Wow.
So 46% of the sales in the Sun City / Ruskin area is cash.
And then comparing that to the Apollo Beach areas, it was only 100 cash sales out of 474. So 20% of the sales in the Ruskin Apollo Beach area were cash, and then 50% of them in Sun City were cash. So just starting to understand. The other thing we saw, I found that was kind of cool, is we saw at least 10 assumable sales in the Ruskin Apollo, assumable loan sales in the Ruskin Apollo Beach area.
Really?
At least 10 were listed as assumable sales. So those are either they assume the loan, or we've also been seeing a lot more creative financing, people offering subject to the mortgage contract. So we're seeing a lot more of that. I didn't dig into that.
The question was how many are new builds in the Ruskin Sun City, the 33571. A lot of those are Lennar new home stuff.
Yeah. So there's going to be some new build, and then same thing here. There's still some new builds right in some of the areas here,
Yep.
but we didn't pull that out. We were really focused on the amount of listings and pendings and sales. So you can see that there's a lot of opportunities in 90 days. Just those 4 zip codes alone. Goodness, that's what 570, 630 opportunities for sales.
So we can't say there's no inventory.
We'll do that another time. We'll dig into that more.
Yep.
All right. So I don't want to hear there's no inventory. There is inventory in South Hillsborough County.
Yeah. So it was 390 listings and 640 sales. So you have the opportunity to get 390 listings and 640 sales if you're in one of our markets here.
And we're deep into the spring selling season now, into the summer selling season. So if we had more inventory, we'd have more sales. So what should we focus on getting? More inventory. That's why I'm asking you to do 1 CMA a day to see what happens. Because if we did 1 CMA a day, if 300 of us did 1 CMA a day, 5 days a week, that's a lot. And then it goes on beyond that. Yes, the inventory under 300 is almost non-existent. So that's a challenge. Mr. Diener, why don't you tell us what's going on in 33629 and other areas you looked at?
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I did the South Tampa zip codes because, now the office is in 09. It's not in 29. So we did 33629, 11, 16, and 09. So out of those zip codes, there were 222 active listings in the last 90 days. And out of those
220 out of all 4 zip codes?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Wow.
Active listings. Yep. 222. We had 13 of them, which was great. And out of the last 90 days, what went under contract, there were 109 total listings that went under contract. We had 9 of those. That represented $18.9 million, which was $529,000 of commission that we had go under contract. And then what actually sold There were 591 total properties sold. We had 10 of them. And the total that was out of those 10 houses that we sold, that was $12.5 million in volume and 350,000 in commission. I was very impressed. Our average commission here was 2.8%.
Very good.
Listings. Yep.
So totally different market. We're talking about micro markets, right? So 100 listings, but 200 sales and 400 closings. How does that happen? Think. New construction.
Yeah.
New construction went under contract a year ago, a year and a half ago, 9 months ago. And it went under contract then, but it didn't close until now.
Yeah.
So there's all this renovation and new home construction in South Tampa because they're tearing down because there's no vacant lots left. Right.
Yeah, most of these were over $1 million. Most of these sales were over $1 million. And I would say 60% of them were new construction.
So I was psychic. I didn't know that report. That's impressive, right? But this is the point. Chris and I were talking yesterday. I was talking about how there's no inventory at Gulf Beach. And he says, wait a minute, there's how many houses for sale, Chris, in Mirror Bay? 50?
54, 55. listed for
54,
sale.
55 houses for sale in Mirror Bay alone. There's 3 in my neighborhood in Symphony House. So Symphony House has a scarcity. Mirror Bay has an abundance. Right, but they also got different product types. They got townhomes, they got villas, they got off water, they got lakefront, they got canal front, they got new construction as well. And new construction as well. There's 70 new home constructions that are pending on Marisol Point. Yeah, but it was a lot lower than that before.
Yeah, when you start looking at it, that's why it's important to know your micro markets. You got 55 active listings. There's 38 waterfront of them. There was only X amount of pending, and of the pending ones, they were mostly all new construction because of price point. There's nothing that actually went under contract between like $1 million and $1.7 million that wasn't new build. So when you start breaking everything down, you start to tell a story. And that's why it's really important to know all of those stats and look into that, because you create a story for what's going to happen in that listing. It's not just price per square footage. Here's our price. Let's sell it. Start to tell that story a little bit more so you really understand what's going on in those micro markets.
Which is another byproduct of the 1 CMA a day. Because as you practice the 1 CMA a day, you're going to get better market knowledge. And if you start diving into these things, you're going to see, like Joe's story, new home construction is the key. If you look at a $500,000 house in South Tampa, gag me. It's a piece of POS.
And there's only 2 of them.
And then Scott's trying to buy them both. Thomas, what are you seeing in the 33511 zip code or any of the ones you looked at?
Okay, so good morning, guys. In Brandon, we have active, I'm sorry.
I said middle America. This is like affordability world. What are you seeing out there?
I'm seeing active in Brandon for the 33511 area code. 74 listings, pending 74, sold 172 with an average price of $116.86. Sales volume $71,566,772 with an average commission of 2.5%. That would give us $1,789,169.30 in sales value. Divided by 172, that would give an average commission of $10,402. And the average days on the market right now is 45 and a half.
45 and a half days on market. Wow. Only 74 listings on the market in the entire zip code of 33511.
Yes, sir.
Right. Average sales price again was what?
Average sales price is $416.86.
$416,000 for an average home in Brandon now. Those who've been in the business for more than 5 years, like what? Crazy.
You know what's also interesting too? In 30 days, 52 was sold.
Wow.
So I mean, yeah, I mean it's crazy, but there's not a lot of activity. I mean, there's activity, but the whole purpose of this is, guys, that's, you know, we're in the Brandon office. We need to get some of this $10,000 commissions.
Exactly.
You know?
The whole purpose of this exercise is for you guys to realize that, holy shit, things are happening. And they're happening without me if you're not participating. So participate and we can make more things happen. Because here's my quote. The activities in a market are dependent upon the activities of the agents in the market. So if we all sit home and smoke pot and watch Netflix, nothing's gonna happen in our market. But if we get out in the market, we talk to people, things are gonna happen. All right, so there we go. Who else has got something prepared?
I do.
don't Who said that? Rachel?
Yeah, I did. So in 33708, which is our Madeira Beach office, we had 161 active listings, 79 pending, and 295 sold. Total volume of sales was close to 277,637,150, and that's about 7 million in commission that's up for grabs. And we had 25 agents who took advantage of part of that. And
How much
then
was-
in Indian Rocks Beach, we have 72 active, 27 pending, 143 that were sold, and the total volume on that was 252,724,775 for about 6.4 million commission up for grabs. And we had 4 agents that took advantage of getting a share of that. So there's a lot of market share that we can still grab here on the beaches, and we are working on doing that.
What is the average commission there? It's huge.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. The commission rate is 2.5%.
What was the what was the total volume, Rachel?
Total volume was 277,637,150.
Times 3% is 8,329,000. And how many sales were there in the last 90 days?
200, 300, just over 420, right at 420. Sorry,
400
how I'm divided out by active, pending, and
It's-
sold. So I'm doing a quick add.
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
that's so 420 sales. That's $19,800 per check. Average commission check of $19,000.
Holy cow. For years and years, I did market share reports for Indian Rocks and Madeira Beach. And for years and years, over a 12-month period of time, that market would produce 100 sales, 107, 110, somewhere in that range. And that was it. And my dad and I had these debates on, we need more. I said, Dad, the market's only producing 100 sales a year. That's all it's producing. And now we're at 400 sales. So what is that from?
In 90 days.
Yeah. And that's just the Madeira Beach, which is both sides of the.
That's because Jeff keeps buying properties and creating inventory.
That's right. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, Mr. Beggins.
Can't grow market share. We're just going to build it. Go. Oh, we're bringing 1,000 people a weekend for years.
That's crazy.
Okay, so what's the takeaway from that? Stuff is happening, right? And we just need to intercept and get in the way. And what's going to happen, in my opinion, I've got boots on the street looking at this, the small independent companies are drying up. They just can't compete and they're losing, and expenses are not going down, they're going up. So we want you to help us get those good agents for small independents, bring them over here. We'll give them our tools and our systems, and they'll go out and prosper even better. Well, they're the ones whittle away. So that's what our job right now is, to collect those good agents from other companies and bring them here, embrace them with the tools that we have, plug them into a Jimmy McNally and show them how to really take advantage of some of the stuff we're doing. So
I think it's also another key takeaway. If you have listings, the average days on market. So just from hearing what Thomas
40 to
said,
50 days.
it was basically 45 to 50 days. What Joe, Thomas, myself, Jimmy, and saw is about 50 days on market. So if you have listings, just making it clear to your sellers that, you know, in certain markets, we can tell what the absorption rate is. It might be faster in some areas, but overall, just don't expect the 3-day sale. You know, if you're going to be in that middle price range, that, 450 to 700,000, there's a good chance you're probably going to looking at between 40 and 60 days on market. So just look in your micro markets, really tell that story of what's going on in there and how they stack up to it, and know that the average days on market in most of these zip codes over here, the Hillsborough County area, is about 45 to 50 days.
Which is a lot different than it was last year. What was it last year? 10 or 11?
Yeah.
It was,
Average was about 19 to 21 days. And that was with the ones that were selling in 0 to 1 days, and some that would go a little bit longer than that. But that was the average. And I think that average was skewed because we did have a lot of new construction that would sit on the market where they would use one listing to sell multiple different properties sometimes.
right.
So there was a lot of skewing going on there. But right now we're at 45 to 50 days.
It's spot on, Chris, because that's setting the expectations, when you sit down and do the listing. Because we're having a lot of
That's the
sellers
class.
getting upset at this point because their home is not moving quick enough.
Yeah, so if you set the expectation up front, we're looking at 55 days on average. If you sell it in 30, you look like a rock star. If you sell it at 55, that's what they expected. If you go later, it's their fault because you didn't price it right. So that kind of works. Watch the class Joe and I did. I gave a talk on integrity. And then we talked about having heart-to-heart discussions with the seller about what they need to know. That's coming up future in the agenda, so I'll skip it for now. But it's important to have these things, because what I'm personally seeing as a broker is a lot of times we're selling a house quickly, and then what happens? It falls apart. For what reasons? Inspections, insurance, roofs, all that crap we've been talking about. And then it goes back on the market. Then it sells again. And then it goes again, and then it goes back on the market and it sells and finally closes. So we're seeing a lot of times we're selling a house 3 times in order to get paid once. And that's a problem. So we got to work on that agenda. Okay, so last week, this is cool. I mean, what did I say in my thing? No grass grows under our feet. Right? We're trying new things, right? We had 48 people online for that Velocity of Money seminar. I was impressed by that. You guys reached out and did something, right? And invited people and they showed up. And then we had 20 people maybe in the room here. So 68 people got a message. Now, what does that mean? It means we did something, right? And we're going to do it again and again and again. But look at the efforts. Jimmy built Moxies for us to go. And it's funny because I don't market to my database at all. I don't go on social media. I don't care to do those things. It's not my thing. But Jimmy used me as an example, and he sent out a Velocity of Money invitation to my database, which is in Moxie because we imported it. How many? 2,600? I think I did.
It's up there. 2,600 cents.
2,600%. 60 got clicked on, and 40 got open. 40% got open. What's 40% of 26? 10% is 260, 52.
About 1,100.
1,100.
Yep.
10,400. And only 6 out of 2,600 unsubscribed. They haven't heard a message from me in ever. But they looked at it and only 6 unsubscribed. What does that tell me? Maybe I should communicate with them more, right? I was blown away by that. My Uncle Joe showed up on the webinar. I didn't even talk to him about it. He didn't know anything about it. He showed up. He's in my database. So are you guys using your database? So that's part 2. So number 1, already talked about it. 1 Moxie CMA with comps per day this week to people you know who own a home or people you want to know who own a home. That's not hard. As a job for a real estate agent to do that, play that game, to do 1 a day. My daughter yesterday said it takes her 5 to 7 minutes now to do 1. But what would happen if you did it for a week? That's the class you did the other day.
It's not about the sale. It's about the connection.
Mhm.
The whole point of doing the CMAs is not about trying to get a listing, trying to get a sale. It's about the connection. That's where your focus needs to go. Too many of us are focused on, well, I didn't get a listing. I didn't get the sale. I didn't get this from doing that. It's not about that. It's about creating the connection so that you're the person that they reach out to when they are ready, or you are the one that's right in front of them now that they are ready.
And here's a concept. Tell the truth. Hey, Jeanette, my company got this new tool and I need to practice on it. Do you mind if I do a CMA on your house?
Mike's message this morning.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Hey, we got this really new thing. Can I try it out on you? Yeah, why not?
I say that all the time. If any of your friends reached out to you and said, hey, I just started with XYZ insurance company. I'd love to run some quotes for you for your auto, for your home. There's no expectation. I just need some practice. Can I practice on you? Can I compare some of your quotes and some of your rates that you have for what you're paying? Is that something that sounds like, okay? Would you mind if I did that? Do you want me to text or email them over to you when I'm done?
More
Would you
people
say
should
yes?
do that because I need help.
You would say yes. You would say, yeah, absolutely. So why would somebody not do the same thing? Hey, I got this really cool new tool. I'd love to share with you what your home equity is. Shoot you over a presentation. Should I send it to you in email or text? Which one sounds fair?
Well, I got an email from Amber today who said she did it and had 2 people send addresses for the report in 15 minutes. So it'll work if you put it out.
Don't do that. It's a bad idea. It didn't work. So cool. All right. Second thing I should do this week is to send 1 group email to your CRM, just like Jimmy had me do, or Jimmy did for me, with the wizard. And I'm going to read the wizard article to you, and I'll make a confession at the end. But the wizard article is important because we have a crisis going on and it's not being talked about enough. And it's screwing up a lot of our deals. And it costs us money when we lose a deal and have to go do it again. So it's in my inbox. I think it's the first line. June Wizard. Now, Jimmy put this in Moxie, sent you an email on how to do it, and I sent you an email yesterday on how to do it. So it's a 4-button click, boom, 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 clicked all, send. That's all you got to do. So we're asking to spend 5 to 7 minutes a day for 5 days, so 25 to 35 minutes this week, and spend about 4 minutes to send out this letter to your database, just for no other expectation other than to make a connection and do that.
Mhm.
You want to read it, or I'm not gonna step there? Or
Sure.
from here?
I mean, yeah, we can read it. The property insurance challenge in Florida, what you need to know. Florida, renowned for its natural beauty, faces a pressing issue, a property insurance challenge. As hurricanes and climate change intensify, Florida confronts a situation that puts homeowners and the economy at risk. This article highlights the causes, consequences, and potential solutions for the property insurance challenge in Florida. Several factors have contributed to the property insurance challenge. Florida experiences frequent hurricanes and rising sea levels due to climate change, leading to higher property damage and insurance claims. Predicting and pricing risk accurately is difficult for insurers due to the complex nature of hurricanes and limited historical data. Some exploit the assignment of benefits system, inflating repair costs and filing unnecessary lawsuits, which drives up premiums for homeowners.
That's really happening. All that stuff is true, and the customers need to know it because
Yep.
I'll cover more.
The property insurance challenge in Florida has significant consequences. Homeowners face steep premium increases, making coverage less affordable, especially for those with limited financial means. Insurance companies are scaling back coverage and withdrawing from high-risk areas, leaving homeowners with fewer options and potential financial vulnerability. Industries like construction, real estate, and tourism are affected as high insurance costs and reduced coverage deter buyers and investors, hindering economic growth.
Stop there for a second, because Joe was talking to me yesterday, Joe Diener. His son lives in Maryland, has an $800,000 house. His insurance bill is $400 a year. Maybe the number's wrong, but some really low like that. I was talking $800 a year, $800 a year. My home insurance was $4,700. They came back and raised me to $10,000. And I negotiated and got it down to $7,000, but that's almost a double hike. I was talking to Brandon Engel the other day. His mortgage payment went up $536 a month. I said, how the hell did that happen? Don't you have a fixed rate mortgage? He goes, I've got a fixed rate mortgage. So what happened? His insurance premium, $536. A normal home buyer might not qualify for that home.
Mine would have went up $700 a month because of the shortage on escrow and the insurance increase because of the getting dropped by another carrier. And that was on an investment property. It would have went up $700.
That's what's going to be the next foreclosure crisis. And heaven forbid they bought a house that was grandfathered in on taxes for a long time. And then they get reassessed at a new value that wasn't anywhere near that value. So this is very important for us to know about and warn customers. It's going to get better. And then that goes on to say that.
But Craig, just to keep in mind, with the investment homes, when they get reassessed, those are going to get hit harder because the primary, we still homestead. So we should be okay at the 3%, correct?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The investor who bought a house based on my homestead exemption with my benefits, when he gets reassessed, he's going to shit a brick.
That's what happened to mine, the taxes. And I anticipated it. My payment was really, really low. I mean, their taxes were like $1,300 and they jumped up to $3,600. So, I mean, I anticipate it. So the $300 a month hike in taxes, plus the insurance got dropped and then I had to get new coverage, which went up, plus the shortage of the escrow from the payments for that year, it was about $700 a month that it was going to go up. So
we should be prospecting on those absentee owners, right, right, Chris?
100%. Like, do you have look for anybody who's an absentee owner who just bought an investment property in the last year and a half, and their taxes are going to be an issue and their insurance will be an issue. I have both of my investment
not
properties.
maybe, going to be.
By the end of the first year for both of the investment properties I have, at the end of last year, both of them had insurance dropped and both of them had to get rewritten, and the insurance cost went up on both of them. For no other reason other than the carrier, and I showed this yesterday, the carrier, out of 13 carriers, only 5 of them were writing policies on a home like that. For no other reason other than risk. They didn't want the risk.
So this is real stuff. So it needs to be sent out and it will show that you care and it'll get some concerns. And some of the people are having these pains be felt, and they're going to reach out to you because you said, oh, I recognize this, right? Especially investors who recently bought.
To tackle property insurance challenge in Florida, a comprehensive approach is needed. Collaboration between insurers, scientists, and government agencies can improve risk assessment, leading to fairer premiums. Legislative reforms. Stricter regulations and penalties for assignment of benefit abuse can deter fraudulent practices, reducing insurance costs. Encouraging homeowners to adopt resilient building practices and invest in protective measures can minimize property damage and lower insurance claims. Promoting competition among insurance companies can result in more affordable premiums and greater coverage options for homeowners. The property insurance challenge in Florida poses a risk for homeowners in the state's economy. By addressing risk assessment, implementing reforms, promoting resilience, and fostering competition, Florida can work towards safeguarding homeowners and ensuring a stable insurance market.
Well, then you're self-insured, you get screwed too. I tried that. It's not a good idea. And then at the close of that is if you're ready to take a dive into real estate, talk to us and we'll help you get there. So here's my confession. You know what my confession is?
Let's hear it.
ChatGPT wrote that. I edited it, but I said, I knew what article I wanted to write. I took a shot. I went to ChatGPT and said, write me an article on the insurance crisis in Florida. And it went and spit out a lot more than that. And then I edited it, moved it around and made it. Is that cool? And pretty much. And then I said, make it a little lighter and a little less serious. And they went and did all that. That's crazy, right? Took me a lot less time. So maybe we'll get the one done this month on time. All right. So those are the two things that I think if all of you would do, we'd make a market stride toward improvement in our market share, right? We would get you sharper on the market. We talked about so many confusing things today. You're going to pick up on that and then you can just articulate it really, really quickly. And if you send articles like that out to your people, with 4 clicks of a mouse, then you're going to just show up as an expert. Sure, why not? I can say ChatGPT, turn this article into Spanish. I bet I could. There you go. Next slide. All right, so we're doing this stuff, guys, just to help you out. So Angelique does a great job of recording everything and summarizing it. So every day, or every Monday, there's a recap that comes out. So on Monday's Mastermind, we did this. Our company business meeting was last week. Reasons to sell now. Chris did a really good class on that. Then we talked about a recap of the Velocity of Money, and we talked about Jeff's Beachmaker project, which is just for us. There's $4 million in commissions waiting there. And a lot of you, Jackie, you got a call, was it yesterday? With Jeff in the condo hotel? It was one, Jeff, it knocks him up. You set him up, he'll knock him down. What happened? There's a result. Maybe interested?
It's dead air.
Yeah, it's dead air. So a long story short, Jackie reached out to a friend about the Beachmaker project, which Jimmy and Mike built. Mike, a past client, she sent the thing out. Past client called. Jackie said, well, why don't you talk to Jeff? Jeff talked to him, and now there's an opportunity. So it's just that simple. So we're going to push these things to you and just build them. And but Mike's building a lot more right now too.
I know those are a 2-year build, but Jeff, what's the commission payment on that? They're paying it at the time that of start.
50% at breaking ground.
Yeah, at breaking ground. And then here's the thing you never know. Jackie's meeting yesterday was with a great investor client and her husband who's from China, and they're actually in China. And they have a lot of investors that might want to go buy some units too. So you just never know where things lead. Right. So it's all about conversations. Conversations that lead to appointments is the focus.
So it is. And then on Friday, Joe and I did a class on contract mastery where we talk more about homeowners insurance and other things like that. So if you missed that, we're going to start doing more contract classes. I just finished my 14-hour continuing ed. So I'm going to make that the profile. There's a lot of stuff in there we forget about. It'd be an interesting topic. So I'll go through that book and find some cool stuff for this Friday's class. But that's all for taking. All you do is click and watch. This is just baffling to me. We're still cranking it out. But 122 listings last month, same month last year, only 69 so far, and there's only 4 days left. So it's just a listing crisis. Nobody wants to sell their house right now unless they have to. Our open business, not too far down. Well, we're down 25%, 23%, 27% in cancellations, which is not a bad thing because I'm glad to be down in cancellations. And our closings are down 46%. It sucks watching declines, yet when the market falls from 5.9 million home sales to 4.7 million home sales, that's a 28% drop. So we suck less. Listings are the anomaly, spelled wrong, thank you. And closings reflect 90 days ago. So what happened 90 days ago? With all the new projects we've been doing, we have big fluctuations. We probably closed out the harbor condos, and that hit 37 units in one month. So those are anomalies we're going to see. So I can't trust those numbers very well. But for the most part, as far as open business, we're down 25%, pending business around 23%, but the market's down 28%. So we can't feel bad about that. But there's nothing that says we have to follow the market either. So we take market share from other people, and that's our goal. That's it. We did the June Wizard article. And this is Jimmy's link. You want to play it now, but that's the one he sent out yesterday. It's a 3-minute video on how quickly you can send that link out and become the relevant expert. And then let me drive that for a minute. We did the June Wizard. What is this?
While Craig's doing that, Jimmy did an awesome class yesterday with Moxie. They had over 650 people registered for the class, over 460 show up for the class. Jimmy ended up driving the whole entire class pretty much because the Moxie presenter that was supposed to be on had some flight issues, had some awesome feedback, some great interaction, and you know how he does it. He shows up. So congrats to Jimmy on doing an amazing class for a huge audience and a great opportunity for him. So congrats, Jimmy. Nice job, bud.
That's coming up on my slides too. Chantel from White Sands Tax Solutions is going to be here on the 7th, on the 6th. And she's going to talk about the new FERPA changes. So Foreign Investment Real Property Tax Act changes July 1. There are restricted countries that are not allowed to buy within a certain distance of specific strategic places, like MacDill Air Force Base. So if you're a Russian, like for example, it's like discrimination. You're not allowed to buy within a certain area under these new rules. So she's going to update us on that and regular FERPA stuff.
That affects a lot of our areas because we have Mosaic, we have MacDill. Like those are just two huge areas that depending on the radius around where some of them can buy, it might affect them significantly. So it'd be a great class to attend.
If you are a master's level or above, you should have gotten this invitation to register for the top agent retreat at the new Fontainebleau in Miami Beach. It is October 4th through the 7th, 6th through the 9th. Leadership's the 4th through the 7th. And what happens here is it's going to sell out because people from all over the country are invited for this event. And who doesn't want to go to Florida in October? It's a nice time to be there. So if you're going to go, register now, book your room.
I like that first line it says there though, too, because it shows how many top agents in Century 21 there were. And it was only 7% of the agents with Century 21 qualified.
Being in the top 7% of one of the largest real estate networks in the US is not an easy feat. You are part of an elite group of the highest performers who have relentlessly hustled for every single side closed and referral taken to reach levels of success that many can only dream of. It's nice to network with the big shots. So if you qualified to be masters, register for that quickly. Angelique wanted to let us know we now have a Spanish listing presentation, thanks to Laura. I'm not gonna log into all that, but in Moxie, you can go in, there's a Moxie listing preview presentation in Espanol. So did you look at to see it yet? Nope.
Yeah, we've had the listing presentation. They're completing the listing preview package, which is just the marketing section of it. So that's been completed. So we have the listing preview package in Spanish, the listing presentation with comps in Spanish. So all of that is slowly getting transitioned over.
This is already in the presentation. I copied it. I took Jimmy's advice instead of putting it in the email, but I didn't take it off the list. This was just interesting. Andy Wood, you've seen him before. He's done some classes with us, but he put out an email there that I thought was excellent. I covered it in training the other day, but the average insurance premium is now $4,231 for property insurance in Florida. It's the highest in the country, right? This just goes on to that, but his point here, long story short, is if you have a house that's going on the market and the roof is older, and older could be 10 to 15 years, it might be worth having a conversation with the seller to replace it before putting it on the market, or putting it on the market subject to a new roof at the time, because it'll make the house more affordable for the buyer, because their insurance is going to be through the roof with an old proverbial roof. So this is just a whole series of things. And the fact that a lot of people don't have the down payment, they're going FHA or whatever to put a new roof on out of pocket. So start getting familiar with renovation loans. We have 3 experts on renovation loans. We have Brooke. I forget her company. Lauren will type it in a second. Andy's a great one for it, and Candace Blackburn. Those 3 have done all classes for us. And I think renovation loans would be a smart thing for you to get really up and smart on, because it's going to be important, because we can find these older homes that are less expensive, but the people just don't have the cash to make the repairs that they need. And we've got solutions for them with low down payment options. So as you get into I'm hearing a lot of you are having to go to Polk County. You're having to go out to Lakeland. You have to go to different places and more affordable homes, but they're older and they're not updated and they don't look as nice as here. John? Between the mic, maybe?
I'm representing a buyer and we just went under contract on an older home, and the seller's property disclosure said that the roof was 14 years old. So I called out to the listing agent, said, you know, this is going to be a problem. She goes, yeah, I know, we've had that issue before. So I put it.
Do something about it. Sorry.
Yeah. So I put it into the contract that we would have a roof replacement by a certified license, permits closed and everything else. They denied our offer. 3 days later, she calls back, we'll take your offer. Turns out after talking with her, she had another offer, full price, the whole 9 yards. They did the inspection and wanted $30,000 for about a $20,000 roof.
Yeah.
So
I'm not making this stuff up, guys.
just being upfront about it. And I mean, my clients were upset that they lost it.
Mhm.
But then when it rolled back around, the other listing was agent just wasn't on top of her game.
Correct.
You make it harder for the buyer.
Yeah.
To make offers. Like, it's confusing. You have a home that needs a new roof. I was talking with somebody yesterday. The home has a 21-year-old roof and the seller is hesitant about putting a new roof on it. Like, you're making it harder on the buyers. You're going to, number one, eliminate VA and FHA buyers because there's a minimum life expectancy for a roof for FHA, no minimum for VA, but it's up to the appraiser's, justification. So you're making it really tough for a buyer. What do? Do we make the offer and ask for the roof? It's going to hurt our offer. It's already in a lower price point. How do we strategize through that? Can you talk to the listing agent? And the listing agent says, well, maybe we'll consider it. We've priced it like it already has a new roof, but we'll consider some. You just make it way more difficult for everybody. I guarantee you'll get better offers, stronger offers, and more valid offers, plus probably more of them if you put into the public remarks, new roof to be installed prior to closing, market it like that, put the price where it should be and market it like that. It makes it that much easier. It's
And
just
you
so
had
easy.
South Shore Roofing out here the other day.
Yes.
They'll put the roof on and get paid at closing.
Yes.
So to
They
have
will-
that knowledge is really important going, and that's for all markets.
Yep, they will file for the permits and the notice of commencement immediately. The seller signs a contract. As soon as you have a contract on it, they will start the process and then they will put it on about 2 weeks prior to closing and they will take it out of the proceeds.
That's value. That's another value point we bring to the transaction that a lot of people don't know. It's gonna be very interesting. So one of my neighbors that just sold, he did a great job pricing his house. And I knew he was gonna go FSBO and there's no change in his mind, but he ended up going with a limited service broker. He put it on the market with a 1.8% commission, like a cheap whatever. And the house is beautiful. And it's same builder's mine, garage underneath, really nice lot location. And it went under contract fast. But he's got one thing. He's got the original roof. Right? And his house is a little smaller than mine. My roof was $68,000, so his is going to be $60,000. So when the buyer finds out there's a $60,000 roof needed, it's not leaking, but he's not going to get insurance on that house. Just little things like that make a difference. Right? So we'll see how that goes out. Well, that's a good point. What Nancy's saying is,
Sure. So the roofer's not going to put the new roof on until you actually have a contract. So if you see in the public room, the question was, what happens if you wanted a metal roof instead of
well,
tile?
I want a
or
gray
instead of
shingle, you want a
asphalt?
brown shingle, you want a green shingle.
It says in realtor remarks or in realtor remarks and public remarks, new roof to be installed prior to closing. You reach out and say, hey, I've got a buyer who's interested but they're considering putting a metal roof on. Can you share with me the estimates you got? We'll compare them with some estimates we got for the metal, and the buyer might be willing to pay the difference or to offer more on the property to cover that difference. And then it gets taken out of the proceeds. That way the buyer doesn't have to pay for it out of his pocket for something he doesn't own yet.
Yeah.
But if
starts
you
a
know it's
conversation.
it's going to go on the roof, they're going to put a roof on, so negotiate it. Call and ask those questions and you could probably get it to work out.
Right. So what I want you to learn about is the FHA 203K renovation loan, because it's an FHA product, 3.5% down. There's a VA renovation product for our veterans with 0% down. And there's a Fannie Mae home style renovation, which is for the more conventional type of buyer. So there's all those opportunities. I'm not going to read the whole email, but you got the point. But there's something down here I wanted to read. Oh yeah, this is it. Sorry. Don't wait for a failed 4-point inspection or cancellation of your policy. It's gonna happen. They're gonna get a 4-point, or they should, or their policy is gonna be canceled if their roof is getting older and their water heater, and there's something else that's really a big issue there too. And this guy, Andy Wood, is also doing a free class, which I think is in my inbox also. He's got a class coming up next month. I'll send out to you separately, where he's doing a 2-hour continuing education credit on renovation loans. So it might be a class you're doing on Zoom. So all certified and you get 2 hours of credit. And then this is fun. Stellar has a rule that you have to do an MLS compliance refresh every 2 years, which is asinine because none of you do deal with this. Our staff does it all for you. But you've got to learn the penalties and how to put listings in and the photo rules and all the other stuff that our staff does for you. But it is good that you need to know it. But it's coming up. It has to be done by August 20th. Friendly reminder that your compliance refresh class is due by August 20th. So I've been laid up, so I've been doing all my classes. So I did the compliance refresh. It's a pain in the ass. It's really simple. It's not hard, but you got to go line by line with the computer, watch the videos, and you can't pause the video or stop it. You got to let it play through. It takes about an hour and a half to get through once you get the browser figured out, because it hides the windows behind other windows. They could have designed it better, but every 2 years. So your 14-hour continue ed is due, and your compliance refresh is due, and our board dues are due. And just a reminder also, just because you take your 14 hours and you pay the course, doesn't mean you registered with the state. So then you got to go to the state, you got to register, you got to renew your license, pay those fees too. And then you get your board fees coming up. So it's all coming. They notify.
Bob Hogan classes like that will send your 14 hours to the state, but they do not renew your license with the state. You have to contact DBPR and make sure you pay the licensing fee as well, because you take the continuing ed, pay for that. They register it. You have to pay to renew your license with DBPR. It's 2 steps.
Okay, check chat real quick. Welcome to Polk County. There you go. Okay, birthdays this week. From Sarasota, Karen Stefanidis, Sharon Plummer on the 28th. Happy birthday soon. Louis Dorta, B3 in Miami on the 29th. Then we got Cheryl Crawford of the Crawford team in Madeira Beach on July 1st. Mike Reichenbach on July 1st. Daryl Herbert from Apollo Beach on July 2nd. Maria Vergara from, oh my God, it's July 2nd coming up. Wow. Maria Vergara on the 2nd from B3 Miami as well. Adam Kuchmeyer from South Tampa on July 3rd, and Clara Lassar from Sarasota on July 3rd coming up as well. So happy birth week to you pre-4th of July babies.
Craig, do you want to hit on next
That was so funny.
Tuesday?
Your voice came out of here.
You want to talk about next Tuesday real quick? Because it's the 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July is Tuesday, so it's a national holiday, so we are closed. So there'll be no
sales meeting.
Pay attention to your contracts too. There are multiple title companies that'll be closed on the 3rd and the 4th. I'm not sure about Paramount. If they're closed on the 3rd, I would assume they're probably going to be closed on the 3rd and the 4th, like most of them. So pay attention to your contracts. If you have closing dates, then make sure you address them to the Friday before or the 5th, which will be Wednesday. It automatically pushes to the next business day, which would be the 5th. But if you want some clarity there, just make sure you put that in writing. And just pay attention to that, because your banks and title companies will probably be closed on Monday and Tuesday.
And more clarity on that. There was a period of time, a couple contract versions ago,
Yes.
where it was extended to the next business day. It was a deadline of 5 p.m. on the next business day. It no longer says that. So it's not a 5 p.m. deadline anymore. It's now 11:59. So don't get caught. Remember that Jessica had that issue a long time ago?
All of you writing contracts won't have to worry about that because some people are still using old contracts.
That's true.
So if you have a listing, make sure you go check your contract to make sure it doesn't say 5 PM. Because if they used an old version of a contract, it will still say 5 PM. That's what you're held to. But if you're writing offers, none of your offers will have that in there because we have the most recent versions of the FAR bar uploaded to Dotloop for you. It will always be the next business day by the end of the day.
And that is all we have for today. So we'll break off in 2 minutes to individual office meetings. Happy Tuesday. No, we're open Monday. We're open Monday. We're closed Tuesday. But you always have your Kissy app so you can get in and out. Just the staff won't be here. Cool.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.